Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate
Om
Vasudevaya.
Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudhirayet Nashtaprayeshva Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatyuttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Salakaya चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्ता स्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, श्रीमद् भगवद गीता की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, समवेत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। वांछा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिंधुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। Hare Krishna, dear devotees, I welcome you to today's Srimad Bhagavatam for All session. Today is March 23rd, 2026. We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 7, The Killing of the Demon Tṛṇāvarta. So we had started a new section. So we had previously read about the killing of Shakatasura, Shakatabhanjana Leela. Then yesterday we started another section, which is the killing of the demon Tṛṇāvarta. So what we read yesterday was that when Krishna was 1 year old, he climbed onto the lap of Yaśodā Mai. Ekada Aroham Arudham. Aroham means lap. Arudham means climbed. So Krishna climbed onto the lap of Yaśodā Mai. When was this? When Krishna was 1 year old. Ekada means 1 year old. And then what did Yaśodā Mai do? Lalayanti. So she would cuddle Krishna, play with him fondly. How would she do that? So she would nurse him, breastfeed him, and then she would gaze at his face, she would kiss his face, then she would pick him up, and with both her hands she would just lift him up in the air like that. Again she would breastfeed him, she would look at his face, kiss him. Again she would just pick him up and, like that, raise him up in the air, or sometimes throw in the air also. So lalayanti sutam. So it's not said that Yaśodā Mai was doing this to Krishna. It is said she did this to her son, Sati, the chaste lady, Yaśodā Mai. But Garimanam Shishor Vodum Nasehe Giri Kutavat. All of a sudden, Krishna became very heavy. How heavy? Like the peak of a mountain. He was so heavy that she could not bear his weight anymore. So let's say, she stood up to just throw him up like that. But then he became all of a sudden so heavy that she couldn't stand up anymore. She had to sit down. And even while sitting down, she could not keep Krishna on her lap. Sometimes if the child is heavy on one side, one leg is hurting, then you pick and put on the other side. She couldn't do that even because he was so heavy, she couldn't lift him. And she had to just put him down. Okay. So what happened was she was not able to bear the weight of Krishna. So nidhaya, she put him down on the ground. She couldn't even hold him in her lap. Bhumau nidhaya tam. Tam means him, Krishna. She she put him down on the ground. Who? Gopi. Gopi because very simple-hearted cowherd lady, Yaśodā Mai. She was a very simple-hearted person. She was not trying to calculate. Uh, Nothing. Just she was just amazed. Vismita, right? She was amazed, wonderstruck. How he's so heavy, right? She was just amazed. And bhara pidita, because of that weight, she couldn't hold him because of not being able to hold him anymore, not being able to bear that weight anymore. She had to put him down, and she was just looking at him, being amazed. How is he so heavy? And uh, then suspecting that maybe this is the doing of some demon, that all of a sudden he's become this heavy. Immediately she started meditating on Mahapurusham Jagatam. Mahapurusham means Lord Narayan, her worshipable deity. She started meditating on Lord Narayan, who is the Lord of the whole universe. And her prayer was as if she's looking at Vaikuntha and she's praying to Lord Narayan that, my Lord, you have given me this child. Now, this is, you are responsible for protecting this child also. Since you've given me, you protect him. Saying like this, she got up because Krishna was so heavy, he was just sitting there in one place. And you see, he's 1-year-old baby. So 1-year-olds, they can, walk and little bit and they can be playing around. But Krishna was not going anywhere. He could walk at this time, but he was not going anywhere. He just sat there and he was so heavy too. So then she just got up and went about doing her household activities. So here, if one is wondering, how is she able to just go and do her activities like that? Because that was her nature, to be always absorbed in service of Krishna. She couldn't stay without doing service. So she saw, and then when she prayed to the Lord, to Lord Narayan, protect him, the Lord is going to protect him. And she just got busy with her services. So also in this regard, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur said that Yaśodā Mai thought maybe some demon has done this. So fearing this, she took shelter of Lord Narayan, who is the Lord of the universe. And also, uh, after looking up toward Vaikuntha and in meditation saying that, oh Lord, you have given this son, so now you must protect him. After saying this, in great anxiety, Yaśodā went out to call some brahmanas to perform the swasthayana karma. So here, according to Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, she went about doing her duties, right? Asa karmasu is said. So asa karmasu means what type of karma? She went and called the brahmanas to do the swasthayana karma. That means ceremonies for the well-being, auspiciousness of the child. Maybe he's attacked by some demon because of which he became so heavy. So she went and immediately called some brahmanas to do the swasthayana. Like that, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says. And His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj, I'm sorry, Radha Govind Maharaj uh, uh, quotes from Harishoriji's commentary. So, according to that, Yaśodā Mai just went about doing her services that she does for Krishna. So, now today we have to start the next shloka, text 20. Daityo, so one more thing that we discussed was that why Krishna became so heavy. That also we had discussed yesterday, because that does not come here. That's discussed before. Krishna knew that this demon Tṛṇāvarta is about to come. Tṛṇāvarta is a whirlwind, or you can say a tornado, right, going around. It's like a cyclone. So he was a whirlwind demon. So Krishna knew his coming. And if he came, and Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that Tṛṇāvarta wanted to take away Yaśodā Mai also, along with Krishna. That was his plan. He was going to take both. But Krishna, as a son, right, wanted to protect his mother. He would have fun going going in the sky, just traveling all over in the sky. But Yaśodā Mai would be very fearful. It would be very, difficult for Yaśodā Mai if Tṛṇāvarta had taken her in the sky, just taking her everywhere. That would be difficult. So considering this, Krishna became very heavy so that she would put him down. So he got down from Yaśodā Mai's lap in that way, so that Tṛṇāvarta can just take him. Otherwise, normally Krishna would be as light as a flower for Yaśodā Mai. But now he became as heavy as a mountain peak. Okay, so that's the reason why he knew. And one more point is that Yaśodā Mai would just throw him up like this. Krishna wanted to go even higher, not just as high as Yaśodā Mai is throwing him, but he wanted to go even higher. So that's why he got down from Yaśodā Mai's lap, so that Tṛṇāvarta could come and take him away. So let's see what happened after that. We also read the purport. Maybe let me quickly go over. Of course, you can go back and see in yesterday's section, but so Yaśodā Mai did not understand that Krishna is the heaviest of all heavy things, and Krishna rests within everything. Acha. So yeah, we discussed this from Bhagavad Gita. You can listen to it in yesterday's session. Yes. So yeah. So Krishna manifested his Aishwarya, right, of becoming heavy. How he was able to become so heavy? Everything is coming from him. The whole, all, not one, so many universes are coming from an expansion of the expansion of the expansion of Krishna. So is it a big deal for him to become heavy? But Yaśodā Mai could not understand. Why she could not understand? Because she saw Krishna as her son. She never saw Krishna as the Supreme Lord. That's why she prayed to Lord Narayan for the protection of Krishna. Okay. Daityo nāmnā tṛṇāvartaḥ kaṁsa-bhṛtyaḥ praṇoditaḥ cakravāta-svarūpeṇa jahārāsīnam arbhakam. Daityo nāmnā tṛṇāvartaḥ kaṁsa-bhṛtyaḥ praṇoditaḥ cakravāta-svarūpeṇa jahārāsīnam arbhakam. Yes. Daitya nāmnā tṛṇāvartaḥ. Daitya means a demon, right? Diti's descendants are called Daityas, and Aditi's descendants are called Adityas. So who are Diti's sons? She had two sons, Hiranyakashipu, Hiranyaksha, and then their descendants, like that, Daityas. So there was one Daitya, that means a demon, whose name was Tṛṇāvartaḥ. Daityo nāmnā Tṛṇāvartaḥ. And who was this? Kaṁsa-bhṛtyaḥ. He was a servant of Kamsa. Kaṁsa-bhṛtyaḥ praṇoditaḥ. And he was inspired by Kamsa. So having been inspired by Kamsa, and also being a servant of Kamsa, this demon, daitya, whose name was Tṛṇāvarta, right? How did he come? Cakravāta. Cakravāta means, vata means hava, air. Chakra means like a circle. What is that? Cyclone, or you call it tornado, right? Like this, Sudigundam, right? So Cakravāta. So he was in the form of a whirlwind. Svarūpeṇa. His form was Cakravāta, like a cyclone in the form of a whirlwind. Jahāra. Jahāra means he swept away. Because he came in the form of a wind, what does wind do? Just sweeps things away. So he came in the form of a whirlwind, and jahāra, swept away. Who? Arbhakam. Arbhakam means child. Āsīnam, who was sitting. Krishna, who was sitting down, was swept away by a demon named Tṛṇāvarta, who was the servant of Kamsa and was inspired by Kamsa, and who came in the form of a tornado, Cakravāta, right? While the child was sitting on the ground, a demon named Tṛṇāvarta, who was a servant of Kamsa's, came there as a whirlwind at Kamsa's instigation and very easily carried the child away into the air. He carried, swept away. That means it was not difficult for him, very easily. That's also interesting. It is said very easily he carried away. But when Yaśodā was holding Krishna in the lap, he was as heavy as a mountain peak. But this demon was able to carry Krishna away very easily. How did that happen? Because when Tṛṇāvarta came, Krishna once again became very light. Light enough for the demon to carry him away. Normally, he would be very light for Yaśodā, like a flower. So light that she wouldn't even feel, right? But when he knew that Tṛṇāvarta was coming, he became very heavy. So much so that Yaśodā had to put him down. And she went away to do her chores. Once again, Krishna became very light when Tṛṇāvarta came. And very easily, Tṛṇāvarta just picked him up and went into the sky. Krishna's heaviness was unbearable for the child's mother, but when Tṛṇāvartasura came, he immediately carried the child away. This was another demonstration of Krishna's inconceivable energy. Yes, he is lighter than the lightest, heavier than the heaviest. He is both. This is Achintya. This is Achintya. The other day, Swati Mataji was asking, Achintya? Achintya means it's inconceivable. If somebody is very light, then that person cannot be heavy. And if somebody is very heavy, then you cannot be light. But Krishna can be both light and heavy simultaneously. Simultaneously, he can be light and heavy, not one after another. Of course, here it's happening one after another, but he can do it both also simultaneously. That is inconceivable. That is called Achintya. Anyway, so this was another demonstration of Krishna's inconceivable energy. When the Tṛṇāvarta demon came, Krishna became lighter than the grass, lighter than the grass, so that the demon could carry him away. This was Ananda Chinmaya Rasa, Krishna's blissful transcendental pleasure. So Krishna, he actually wanted to get a ride. This was a pleasure ride for Krishna. Of course, that was not the demon's intention. The demon was not coming to give a pleasure ride to Krishna. He came to scare Krishna. What was the intention of Tṛṇāvarta? He will pick up Krishna and go so high. And he was going at full speed actually. Goes so high. And of course, that will also scare the baby. And then after going to the highest points, he'll just smash the child down, and then he'll fall down and he'll die. That was his plan. He didn't come to give a pleasure ride. But for Krishna, it was a pleasure ride. When Tṛṇāvarta came, he was just having, he was getting a wonderful ride, going in the sky all over, here and there, higher and higher and higher. Some people like to go to heights, right? Heights, very, very high places. Where is that desire coming from? Originally, all this is there in Krishna only. So anyway, that's the reason why it's Ananda Chinmaya Rasa is said. It was a pleasure ride for Krishna. So, important point in this verse is that it's by his Aishwarya Shakti, by his inconceivable potency, Aishwarya, that the Lord became light and heavy. That's the point. And another point is that this was the Lord's pleasure to just go to heights, right? Sitting on Tṛṇāvarta. Ananda Chinmaya Rasa, Krishna's blissful transcendental pleasure. So for that, he became lighter than a blade of grass, so that Tṛṇāvarta would just take him to great heights. Then, text 21. Gokulaṁ sarvam āvṛṇvan muṣṇaṁś cakṣūṁṣi reṇubhiḥ īrayan sumahā-ghora śabdena pradiśo diśaḥ Gokulaṁ sarvam āvṛṇvan. Avrit ho jana means to be completely covered. Gokulam sarvam āvṛṇvan. Entire Gokula was covered with what? Muṣṇaṁś cakṣūṁṣi reṇubhiḥ. Muṣṇaṁ cakṣūṁṣi reṇubhiḥ. It was covered by renu, means dust particles. This was a cyclone. So when this whirlwind came to Gokula, it was carrying dust particles, so many dust particles. It just, just lifted all the dust, right? Vraja's dust. And the whole atmosphere was filled with this dust. So much so that because of this whirlwind, and it was going at such a great speed, and there was dust everywhere, dust particles, because of this, nobody could even see anything. They couldn't open their eyes. Actually, in more detail, it is explained, not only were there dust particles, but there were also small stones. Like when there is hail, you see small pieces of ice, like that. So along with dust, there were also these pieces of stone, and there was blinding darkness because of this whirlwind. Whirlwind being covered by dust, and because of these pieces of stone, one thing is, if anybody tried to open their eyes will get hurt, because the dust would go inside and the wind was blowing at such high speed and these stone pieces were there. So nobody was able to open their eyes. But also, even if they tried to open their eyes, it was just darkness everywhere. They couldn't see anything. The power of seeing was taken away by this whirlwind. So that's why muṣṇaṁś cakṣūṁṣi. Cakṣūṁṣi means aankhon ka, eyes, of the eyes. Muṣṇaṁś means taken away. So the cakṣūṁṣi means the power of the eyes to see, right? That was taken away because of this whirlwind that covered Gokula completely. Entire Gokula was now pervaded by this whirlwind. So Tṛṇāvarta already lifted Krishna. But there was such darkness everywhere, nobody could see anything. And also remember, there was such wind, sound of this wind. It was so, the roar of this whirlwind was so loud that nobody could hear anything. You couldn't see, you couldn't hear. Okay? The power of vision was taken away by the dust particles, reṇubhiḥ. īrayan sumahā-ghora śabdena pradiśo diśaḥ. So īrayan sumahā-ghora śabdena. So that sound, śabdena. How was that? Just see. Ghora means bhayankar, ghor, right? Ghora śabdena. Not just ghora, maha-ghora, not just maha-ghora, sumahā-ghora. Can you imagine how fierce that sound was? īrayan means it was vibrating. We have some experience of loud sounds, maybe if you went into a factory or something, loud sounds. But this was sumahā-ghora śabdena. Pradiśo, diśaḥ. And this was everywhere. This sound spread everywhere, in every direction. Pradiśo, diśaḥ. So what all are happening? One thing is, this whirlwind had spread throughout Gokula, everywhere, not just in Nanda Maharaj's house, all over, entire Gokula. It was filled with dust. And also I said, those pieces of stone. And because of this, there was complete darkness. Further, you will see what type of darkness. Nobody was able to see others, forget that. But you couldn't even see your own hand in front of you. It was complete darkness. And because of the dust and this high velocity wind, they couldn't open their eyes. They couldn't open their eyes. Even if they opened, they couldn't see anything and their eyes would get hurt. And along with that, it was making such a fierce sound vibration everywhere in all directions. Can you imagine the situation? This is a situation in the entire Gokula, in every home, everywhere, outside, inside, everywhere. Covering the whole land of Gokula with particles of dust, that demon, acting as a strong whirlwind, covered everyone's vision and began vibrating everywhere with a greatly fearful sound. Purport. Tṛṇāvartasura assumed the form of a whirlwind and covered with a dust storm the whole tract of land known as Gokula, so that no one could see even the nearest thing. Yes, you should understand this. They couldn't see. If they put a hand in front of their face, they couldn't see their own hand. What to speak of seeing it? The nearest thing, right? My glasses are the nearest thing. So if I were to be in Gokula at that time, if I opened my eyes, I couldn't see my glasses also. They couldn't see even the nearest thing because of the darkness that was formed by this dust storm. And it covered the whole tract of land called Gokula. And what was this dust storm? This was actually Tṛṇāvarta, who assumed the form of this dust storm. It was a great demon. Okay? Yes. So there was a tumultuous sound that reverberated in all directions. muhūrtam abhavad goṣṭhaṁ rajasā tamasāvṛtam sutaṁ Yaśodā nāpaśyat tasmin yastavati yataha. muhūrtam abhavad goṣṭhaṁ. Rajasa tamasāvṛtam. So at that time, muhūrtam means that moment. Muhūrtam abhavad goṣṭhaṁ. Rajasa tamasāvṛtam. Rajasa, rajas means here the dust, raj. And tamaha means darkness. So, sutaṁ, okay. Because of the entire goṣṭha, goṣṭha means pasturing land, or you can say the whole Gokula, Vraja, was completely covered by dust and darkness. For that time, right? For some time, for a moment, it was simply covered by darkness. And who was missing there? Abhavad. Who was not there? Sutaṁ, her son, right? Yaśodā nāpaśyat. She's not able to see anything like anyone else. Nobody is able to see there. And Yaśodā Mai also, who had put Krishna on the ground, and she knew he was not going anywhere, he was not playing, and he was so heavy, he was just sitting there. So she was also kind of confident that he's heavy, he'll just be there, right? He was so heavy. So she just went about doing her things. But now when this darkness appeared all over and there was dust, for a moment, now she's not able to see Krishna because of darkness. Then tasmin nyastavati yataha. What she did was, she's not able to see, but she's groping, right? She went to the place and she was trying to feel Krishna in the place where she had left him. She had put Krishna there earlier and she went about doing her chores. So now, when there was darkness everywhere, what did she do? She started feeling, right, with her hands, trying to feel. She came to the same place. She just moved in that darkness and she was trying to look for Krishna. She's not able to see. She's not able to see, but by feeling with her hand, she's trying to feel if Krishna is there. She was confident that because he was so heavy, he would probably be still sitting there. So, muhūrtam abhavad goṣṭhaṁ rajasā tamasāvṛtam sutaṁ Yaśodā nāpaśyat, right? Not seeing Krishna, right? Tasmin nyastavati yataha. Wherever she had left him, she started looking for him. But actually, what happened? He's not there. She was feeling, trying to spot him. But she couldn't find, he's not there. One more point here about rajasa tamasāvṛtam. This is like the Acharya explaining in a wonderful way. Here, this goṣṭhaṁ or Gokula is compared to the senses, our senses. And rajasa tamasa means the modes of passion and ignorance. When my senses are covered with the modes of passion and ignorance, can my senses see Krishna? No, they cannot see Krishna. So, goṣṭhaṁ being covered by rajasa tamasa, therefore, sutaṁ abhavad, right? For a moment, Krishna was not there. Or Krishna could not be found. Krishna could not be seen there. The place being covered by dust and darkness, nobody could see Krishna in Vraja or in Gokula. So, the analogy is when our senses are covered by the modes of passion and ignorance, we cannot see Krishna. Now, let's read the translation. For a moment, the whole pasturing ground was overcast with dense darkness from the dust storm. And Mother Yaśodā was unable to find her son where she had placed him. Yes, she was not able to find him. Nāpaśyat. She could not see Krishna. Then, what was her condition? By not seeing Krishna, what was Yaśodā Mai's condition? So Yaśodā Mai did not see baby Krishna there where she had left him. Then, nāpaśyat kaścanātmānam param chāpi vimohitaha tṛṇāvarta nisrishtābhihi sharkarābhir upadrutaha. This sharkara means those pieces of stone, or you can say sands, sharkara. Nāpaśyat kaścanātmānam. Nāpaśyat, not seeing, right? Nāpaśyat kaśchana, bilkul nahi dekha, not at all. Atmanam, atmanam means oneself. Atmanam means the self. Param cha api vimohitaha. Param cha api. Atmanam param cha. Matlab apne ko bhi, not being able to see the self or another. This was the condition in Gokul when Tṛṇāvarta had come and picked up Krishna. So the wind was still there. He already picked Krishna up and he was in the sky. But the whirlwind was there still. So at that time, nobody, the Brajvasis, whoever was in Gokula, nobody was able to see himself or herself or anyone else. They couldn't even see oneself what they will see others. That means nothing was visible. Nāpaśyat kaścanātmānam param cha api vimohitaha. And they were illusioned by this, right? Not being able to see the self or anyone else. Okay? Nāpaśyat kaścana atmanam param cha. Neither self nor others. Api. Vimohitaha. Vimohitaha means illusion. Tṛṇāvarta nisrishtābhihi sharkarābhirupadrutaha. Tṛṇāvarta nisrishta abhihi. Nisrishta abhihi. So, they were illusioned by what? Vimohitaha. By that wind which carried sand. Right? So this sand was thrown by Tṛṇāvarta. Being illusioned, they were illusioned by this sharkara or this sand or pieces of stone that were created and spread around by Tṛṇāvarta. Created means he spread them around. By that they were illusioned and upadrutaha, disturbed. Everyone was disturbed. So there was no chance of anyone going anywhere. Right? Nobody could go anywhere. They were all completely illusioned and disturbed. Because of the bits of sand thrown about by Tṛṇāvarta, people could not see themselves or anyone else. And thus they were illusioned and disturbed. They were illusioned and disturbed. One second. Let me see if there's any commentary. So 23. No, no commentary. Next, 24. Iti karapavana chakrapamshu varshe suta padavim abala vilakshya mata ati karunam anusmarantyashochad bhuvi patita mrita vatsaka yatha gauh. What is the condition of Yaśodā Mai? Iti khara means very strong, pavana, wind, chakra, whirlwind, right? Thus, this strong whirlwind, and what type of whirlwind? Pamshu varshe. Pamshu means like dust and sand. Not only was there a very powerful, strong whirlwind, but it was as if there was a heavy rain of dust and sand along with that wind. Pamshu varshe, right? A rain of dust and sand. And in that situation, Suta Padavim Abala Vilakshya Mata. So she's not able to see her son, Suta Padavim, right? That means the place where she had kept her son. Padavi means post, right? So Padavim means that place where she had kept Krishna. Suta Padavim. Abala, Abala means she became not finding Krishna. Yaśodā Mai became, she lost all strength out of anxiety that Krishna was not there. Abala, right? Abala, she became completely bereft of all power, all strength. Why? Avilakshya, not being able to see Krishna in the place where she had put him. And what was the condition outside? Outside means everywhere, all around her. This strong wind and this heavy rain of dust and sand. And she was trying to grope there and find Krishna. And she couldn't find Krishna there. And she became completely, powerless. Who? Mata, Mother Yaśodā. Then, Ati Karunam, Anusmaranti Ashochad. Ati Karunam. Karunam means, that means it would invoke the pity of others, right? And not just pitiful, but ati, extremely. So she started wailing so piteously out of pain of separation from Krishna. Ati karunam anusmaranti. Anusmaranti. She's remembering, I put him right here. And she's remembering her son, Ashochad, Bhuvi Patita. Ashochad means lamentation, right? In Bhagavad Gita we read Ashocyananva shochastvam, shocha, right? Ashocyan means that which is not lamentable. Anva shochastvam, but you are lamenting. So shocha is what? Lamentation. So here ashocha means not, it doesn't mean not lamenting, it is lamenting extraordinarily. So it was superlative degree. She's lamenting, wailing, crying so piteously, extremely piteously. She lost all power, all strength. Patita, right? Immediately she fell down. It's like she just dropped down to the ground. She came looking for Krishna. She didn't find him. And when she didn't find him, she just lost all strength. She just dropped down to the ground. And Ati Karunam Anusmaranti Ashochat. She started lamenting remembering her child very, very extremely piteously. Bhuvi patita, she fell on the ground. Huh? How? Mrita vatsaka yatha gauh. The way a cow would drop down to the ground and cry, seeing its dead calf in front of it. Mrita vatsaka. When a calf dies, I think some of you may have seen a cow or heard a cow cry when its calf dies. It's very, very piteous. And just understand how much a cow has affection for its calf. Krishna is called Bhakta Vatsala. Vatsa means a calf. That means Krishna has affection for his devotees like a cow has for its calf. With that, we should understand. And when such a calf dies, when the dead body of the calf is on the ground, how does a cow cry? How piteous is that cry? This was how Yaśodā was weeping when she could not find Krishna in the place where she had left him. When she could not find, she just lost all strength. She had no more strength to sit up, or she just dropped to the ground. Started very, very extremely piteously. She started crying, remembering Krishna. Just even that Bhakta Vatsala is called the Chakravarti quality of Krishna. That means Krishna has unlimited qualities. But of all those qualities, what is the emperor of all those qualities? That is called Bhakta Vatsalata. Krishna's affection for his devotee. Because Krishna has so many qualities. He is the most beautiful and the most attractive and merciful, Dina Bandhu, the friend of the poor, so many things. But which name, which quality is the emperor of all the qualities of Krishna? Bhakta Vatsalata. So that means his affection for his devotees. Vatsa means a calf. So that should tell us how much love a cow has for its calf. So that's why here we see the analogy that Yaśodā, she dropped down. Bhuvi patita, she fell on the ground. She just fell down on the ground. Patita, she fell down. Mrita vatsaka yatha gau, the way a cow falls down, seeing her dead calf. Because of the dust storm stirred up by the strong whirlwind, Mother Yaśodā could find no trace of her son. Nor could she understand why. Right? Thus she fell down on the ground. Because they were all there. Right? It's not like people were flying in the air. They were all still there. And Yaśodā saw that Krishna had become so heavy. So where did he go? He was not even moving around. He was just sitting in one place. So she didn't understand why she's not able to find her son. Right? So she fell down on the ground like a cow who has lost her calf and began to lament very pitifully. Let me see if there's any commentary. So Yaśodā could not see her child because of the thick layers of dust showering down from the whirlwind demon. Like that. Yeah, maybe I'll stop here and read Bhagavad Gita. We'll continue tomorrow. So we are reading from the 13th chapter of Bhagavad Gita yesterday. So now the topic is Krishna has been answering first in 8 to 12. Krishna answered the question of Jnanam. So all these Jnana sadhanas, that is Jnanam. Then in the 13th, from 13th verse onwards, Krishna started describing Gyayam. Gyayam means the object of Jnanam is Gyayam. What is that? So Krishna said it is Brahma. That means Brahman. So that Brahman is Anadi, beginningless. Mat Param, it is subordinate to me. And Na Sat, Na Asad. It has no cause and no effect. And further about that same Brahman, or here, you can take as Paramatma also. Sarvatah Panipadam, that Gayam has his hands, legs, eyes, heads, faces, ears, everywhere, and it's all pervading. So you can take this as Virata Purusha, right? Because in Virata Purusha, the hands and legs of all living entities. And who is this Virata Purusha? This Virata Purusha is the form, material form of Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. Sarvam āvṛtya tishtati, right? He's all pervading. Then in the next verse, we saw Sarvendriya Gunabhasam, and he is the source of all the senses, but Sarvendriya Vivarjitam, he has no senses. That means he has no senses means he's the source of all senses, of course, everyone's senses. Virata Purusha, we said, he has so many hands, legs, etc. That means all the living entities, hands, legs, heads. Then, so he is the source, because Garbhodakshaya Vishnu is the source from whom Virata Purusha came. So Garbhodakshaya Vishnu is the source of all hands and legs. But he himself has no hands and legs. Means he doesn't have material hands and legs that are seen in Virata Purusha. His hands, legs, eyes, heads are all transcendental. Asaktam sarva bhṛtyaḥ, even though he is maintaining everything, still he has no attachment. Asaktam. Nirgunam guna bhoktracha. He is the Lord of all the modes, yet he is not touched by the modes. He is transcendental to the modes. Then yesterday we saw Bahirantascha bhutanam. He is there inside and outside of acharam charam, all moving and non-moving beings. He is inside and outside of all moving and non-moving beings. Sukshmatvat tad avigyayam. Still, even though he is there inside and outside of everything, we cannot see him. Why? Because he is so subtle. Sukshmatvat. He is so subtle. That means he is made, his form is made of the internal energy. And our instruments are all made of the external energy. External energy is inferior energy. With the inferior energy, we cannot see the transcendental or the internal energy. How can we see the Lord's form? By performing bhakti. When our senses, when we get a transcendental body, transcendental eyes, then we'll be able to see him. And also durastam chantike chatad, and he's far, far away, but he's also very near to us. Far, far away because he's situated in his Golok Vrindavan Dham or in Vaikuntha planet, but he's also very near to us as Paramatma in the heart. So that we saw yesterday. Now we'll read the next verse. Avibhaktam cha bhuteshu vibhaktam iva cha sthitam bhuta bhartru cha tajgeyam grasishnu prabha vishnu cha. Vibhaktam, again I'll read. Avibhaktam cha bhuteshu vibhaktam iva cha sthitam bhuta bhartru cha tajgeyam grasishnu prabha vishnu cha. How is he situated? Avibhaktam. Avibhaktam cha bhuteshu. Now we are talking of Paramatma. Paramatma is present in all living beings. He is there in your heart. He is there in my heart. He is there in her heart. He is there in his heart. Everyone's heart is there. Yes? But does that mean that there are different Paramatmas? You have one Paramatma, I have one Paramatma, she has one Paramatma, he has one Paramatma. Is it like that? No, there's only one Paramatma, but he is present. But you, me, her, and him, are we all different people? Yes, we are all different people. We are not one person. I'm one person, you are one person, he is one person, she is one person. But the Paramatma in you, Paramatma in me, Paramatma in him, Paramatma in her is not different persons. There's only one person. So actually he's one, avibhaktam. That means he's not divided or he's not many, he's only one. And he's present in all living entities. Yet he appears to be divided, right? There's one Paramatma in me, one Paramatma in you, one Paramatma in him, one Paramatma in her. It appears like there are so many. It appears like that, but actually it's not so many. There's only one Paramatma. That's also very, very actually eye-opening, because sometimes, we think that, especially in every field actually, why just amongst devotees, but especially with devotees and with the spiritual master, you know, if we think that we say something in front and we have something else in our mind, and we are thinking that, they don't know. The Paramatma is the same, right? When I am talking to Paramatma, the same Paramatma is there in your heart, her heart, his heart, everyone's heart. Same Paramatma is there. So I may say to you, and I may have some other intentions in my mind, okay? But Paramatma is in your heart also, same Paramatma. He's seeing what my intentions are. He can reveal to you without my saying anything. Yes? Without my saying anything to you, he can reveal. Therefore, be very, very careful with devotees and with devotees. Because Krishna reveals to the devotees whatever he wants that devotee to know, even without your telling. Because there is same Lord. Paramatma is there in my heart, your heart, everyone's heart, and he's not different Paramatmas. It's not like you are a different family, I'm a different family, so what we talk in my family, you don't know what you talk in your family, I don't know. It's not like that. The person in your heart, the person in my heart, and in this person, that person's heart is the same. He knows everything. And he can reveal also to another devotee what he wants that devotee to know, especially with the spiritual master. And also, whoever is, because spiritual master is not just the person who gives us the mantra diksha. Even the spiritual master who's guiding us in spiritual life, right? And the spiritual master who's teaching us, uh, they're all spiritual masters also. Anyway, that's just a side point. But here the thing is, he's one. He's not different Paramatma. Paramatma in my heart, Paramatma in your heart, everyone's heart is the same person. Although it appears like he's divided or there are so many Paramatmas. That's why it is said, avibhaktam. He is not divided. Avibhaktam cha bhuteshu. In all living beings, actually he is not divided. There's only one Paramatma, but he is there in all living entities. but he appears vibhaktam iva cha sthitam, and he's situated as if he is divided. He's situated as if he is divided. Vibhaktam iva cha sthitam. Bhuta bhartra, meaning he is the maintainer. Bharta means one who maintains. Right? So this person, the gyayam, which is the object of knowledge, is the maintainer of all living entities. He is situated in all living entities. He appears to be divided, but actually he is undivided. He is only one person who is there in all living beings, and he is the maintainer of all living entities. But not only is he the maintainer, even though he is the maintainer, huh, he is also the, you know, what do you say, the one who finally devours all living entities. And also Prabha Vishnu, Grasishnu Prabha Vishnu cha. Prabha Vishnu means one who is creating, developing. So he's maintaining, but he's also creating and he's also devouring. How is that? We all know that from the body of Karanodakashai Vishnu, all the living entities come out through his glands and enter into Prakriti. Right? So he is the one, so not exactly creating, but they're all coming from him. Right? They're all coming from him. And they're developing, their bodies are developed also by his energy. Yes? He's the one who's developing their bodies. That means his external energy is doing it. Of course, his glance is also there, the time potency, by his time potency acting on Prakriti, then our bodies are developed. So, and then after that, he's maintaining, as Paramatma, he's maintaining. How he's maintaining? This body is functioning. My heart is beating. My digestive system is working. Blood is flowing throughout the body. Nervous system is working. How is it happening? Who's maintaining this body? If you say, I am maintaining, do I know what's going on in my heart? Am I controlling my kidneys, my liver, and everything, how it's functioning? I have no idea. When a child is developed in my body, I have no idea how the child is growing. I am not growing the child. What is the mechanism? How is it developing inside? I'm not doing, but there is one person who's doing. Now, the other extremity is somebody says it is all happening automatically. Nothing happens automatically. We have experience. Automatically, rice dal sabji doesn't get done. We have to go in the kitchen. We have to wash, cut, and cook. Then the prasadam comes on the table. But for this material world, such complex things are happening, and we say it is all happening automatically. That is completely, like childishness, foolishness to think like that. We don't have any such experience in our life that things are happening automatically. But I don't know how they tell such stories and how we buy such stories in our books, science books, etc. But there is a person in this body. For sure, it is not me. I am not controlling how my brain is working and how my heart is working. I'm not controlling. But that does not mean nobody is controlling. Without control, things don't work. Simple. Then who is it? Okay, there are different demigods, right? For the eyes, there is one demigod. Yes, it's true. But the demigods are not acting independently. There is Paramatma in the heart. Just like unless a person turns on the switch, right, electricity doesn't start flowing automatically. A person is required. Like that, here, that person is Paramatma. He releases the energy. All the energy is coming from him. Whether it is creative energy or knowledge, any type of energy, potency. And how he gives that? Based on my karma. That is why he is neutral. He is neutral. He is unattached. Based on my karma, he gives. But the point here is, he is the one who's maintaining. This is how he is maintaining. Vaishvanara means, that fire of digestion. He becomes the fire of digestion. And then food is digested. So he's maintaining the body. The point is, he's maintaining. So he is developing, he is maintaining. And finally, annihilation. Individually also, universally also. Everything is devoured by him. Like we see in Bhagavad Gita 11th chapter. Right? Kala Shakti devours everything. I have to go early today, but I thank you all for joining this morning. I didn't read the purport. Maybe I'll just read the purport before, and we didn't read the translation also. Let me just read that. So the verse is, avibhaktam cha bhuteshu vibhaktam iva cha sthitam bhuta bhartri cha tajgeyam grasishnu prabhavishnu cha. Translation: although the super soul appears to be divided among all beings, he is never divided. He is situated as one. Although he is the maintainer of every living entity, it is to be understood that he devours and develops all. Purport: the Lord is situated in everyone's heart as the super soul. Does this mean that he has become divided? No. Actually, he is one. The example is given of the sun. The sun at the meridian is situated in its place. But if one goes for 5,000 miles in all directions and asks, where is the sun? Everyone will say that it is shining on his head. In the Vedic literature, this example is given to show that although he is undivided, he is situated as if divided. Also, it is said in Vedic literature that one Vishnu is present everywhere by his omnipotence, just as the sun appears in many places to many persons. And the Supreme Lord, although the maintainer of every living entity, devours everything at the time of annihilation. This was confirmed in the 11th chapter when the Lord said that he had come to devour all the warriors assembled at Kurukshetra. He also mentioned that in the form of time, he devours also. He is the annihilator, the killer of all. When there is creation, he develops all from their original state. And at the time of annihilation, he devours them. The Vedic hymns confirm the fact that he is the origin of all living entities and the rest of all. After creation, everything rests in his omnipotence. And after annihilation, everything again returns to rest in him. These are the confirmations of Vedic hymns. Yato va imani bhutani jayante yena jatani jivanti yat prayanti abhisamvishanti tad brahma tad vijigyasasva. Taittiriya Upanishad 3.1. So we will stop there today. Thank you all so much. I'm not taking questions today. I have to go. Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam ki,
Jai.
Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Shri Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Thank you, Mas.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
ये पतितानां
Om
पावनेभ्यो
Bhavane